September 15, 2025, Southern Caribbean Sea. A Venezuelan patrol ship turns hard to port, its bow cutting across blue water like a blade. Its new heading, straight toward a U.S. Navy destroyer. On board the USS Knights, the bridge crew watches the radar light up. No warning call, no message, just a fast-moving contact, 2,300 tons of steel accelerating to 22 knots and closing fast. At this range, less than 12 nautical miles, there's no room for mistakes. Every second matters. One wrong move, and a gray ocean could flash into red. It begins like so many maritime encounters, quiet, procedural, almost routine. The USS Knights, an Arleigh Burke-class guided missile destroyer, patrolling international waters 34 nautical miles off Venezuela's coast. Her mission, surveillance and freedom of navigation, a statement in motion. But on this afternoon, the calm of the Caribbean hit a different current. On radar, a new contact appeared 21 miles out, a Venezuelan Garcia-class patrol ship. Nothing unusual at first, slow speed, steady heading. Then, at 4:11 p.m., the contact surged, 12 knots to 22 in under 2 minutes. An intercept vector. Inside Knight's Combat Information Center, sailors noted the shift immediately. Contact Sierra 17, Venezuelan Navy, Garcia-class, on an aggressive course. Screens flickered, coordinates updated, and tension rippled through the ship like static. The destroyer's captain gave a measured order: maintain rules of engagement, log everything, hail once, then go active. Bridge-to-bridge calls went out in English and Spanish. Unidentified Venezuelan naval vessel, this is United States warship on international transit. You are closing distance at high speed. Alter course immediately. Silence. No radio call, no signal light. Just the low rumble of engines through water. The Knights elevated its readiness posture. Non-lethal systems powered on. Electronic countermeasures began recording every emission, every radar ping, every whisper of signal. Up on deck, the 5-inch gun slowly rotated, subtle but deliberate, like an eye-opening. Then came the confirmation: CPA, closest point of approach, under 3 miles and shrinking. 6 minutes to potential collision. Flight operations went green. A Seahawk helicopter lifted off the deck, its rotor wash scattering mist into the air. On board, 3 crew, sensor pods, flares, and the most important weapon of all, presence. At 200 feet above the waves, the Seahawk banked low and approached. Its infrared cameras captured the Venezuelan deck, crew members visible near their forward gun mount, helmets on, movements deliberate. The pilot keyed the mic. Venezuelan naval vessel, this is a United States Navy helicopter. You are operating unsafely in international waters. Change course now. The same message followed in Spanish, echoing through open frequencies. Still, the Venezuelan ship pressed forward. Then a shimmer, a search radar sweep pinged across the Seahawk. Not fire control, but tracking. That's the line before escalation. The Seahawk answered with light, not fire. A non-lethal green laser flicked across the Venezuelan bridge windows, impossible to miss, yet harmless. A message, silent but unmistakable: we see you. Moments passed. On camera, figures moved. One sailor raised binoculars, another waved, unclear if greeting or defiance. Then, a shift. The Venezuelan ship's engines eased. Speed dropped. 26 knots, then 24, then 22. Course adjusted by a few degrees. It wasn't retreat, but the intercept was broken. On board Knights, silence gave way to cautious relief. The standoff was ending. No missiles, no warning shots, just pressure, applied with precision. At 4:32 p.m., the Venezuelan bridge finally transmitted: United States naval vessel, we are exercising sovereign patrol duties in proximity to Venezuelan waters. We request you adjust your heading accordingly. A statement of pride, not apology. The response from Knights was calm, firm, and final. Venezuelan vessel, this is U.S. warship conducting legal transit in international waters. Your movements are recorded. Unsafe maneuvers will be treated as escalatory. Silence again, engines steady, distance widening. By 4:38, the Venezuelan patrol ship had fallen 6 nautical miles behind, still visible on radar, still watching, but no longer closing. The Seahawk circled once, then returned to deck. Mission complete. What remained wasn't just tension, but data. Time-stamped, geolocated, archived. Because in modern warfare, sometimes the most powerful weapon isn't a missile, it's the memory card inside a surveillance pod. To understand this encounter, you have to rewind 2 weeks. September 2, 2025. Far from the cameras and headlines, U.S. Southern Command confirmed a precision strike on 2 Venezuelan smuggling vessels operating in international waters. The targets weren't fishermen. They were high-volume traffickers moving synthetic opioids north, part of a network worth hundreds of millions. The operation was surgical. Drones under Coast Guard authority. Navy ISR watching silently from the periphery. 2 vessels erased. No survivors reported. Caracas erupted in outrage. Within days, Venezuelan naval traffic surged. Patrol ships that usually hugged the coast began pushing deep into international lanes, erratic, unpredictable, and armed. Then came September 10th. Venezuelan light attack jets swept low over U.S. destroyers, unarmed but unmistakably deliberate. Not an attack, a message. We see you. We can push back too. That was the prologue to September 15th, the day Knights met Sierra 17. For Venezuela, this wasn't an act of war. It was theater, a performance of defiance. Their doctrine, asymmetric presence. When you can't match firepower, you manipulate perception. You create friction, gather intelligence, and force headlines. The U.S., in contrast, plays a longer game. Professional, predictable, controlled, surveillance, not suppression. Because today, every radar ping, every intercepted signal, every flicker of video can end up before the United Nations or viral online within hours. In this arena, restraint isn't weakness, it's strategy. For 38 minutes, the sea held its breath. 2 steel silhouettes floated in tense symmetry, each the reflection of the other's resolve. Then, at 4:49 p.m., the Venezuelan ship eased its engines. No words, no signals, just a slow turn to port and silence swallowing its wake. Aboard Knights, no one cheered. They simply watched the radar contact fade, replaced by the familiar emptiness of open sea. The captain gave a single nod. "Log complete," he said quietly. On the bridge, sunlight broke through a thinning cloud line, casting the water in gold. It was over, but not finished. Encounters like this happen every week across the world's oceans. Quiet, unseen, yet carrying the potential to reshape the balance of power with a single wrong move. In the 21st century, war doesn't always start with an explosion. Sometimes it begins with a silence that lasts too long on an open channel. Beneath the calm, every patrol, every maneuver, every locked radar beam is part of a larger story, of nations testing limits, of diplomacy performed through steel and speed. The line between peace and provocation has never been thinner or quieter. If you want more real-world encounters like this, stories that reveal the hidden tension shaping our oceans, skies, and borders, subscribe for the next episode, like this video to keep these stories alive, and share it, because the world's calmest moments often hide its loudest truths.